Let's talk about the migrant crisis ongoing. This as the Home Secretary Suella Braverman and the new Justice Secretary Alex Chalk have warned the House of Lords not to defy the will of the British people by blocking the government's radical immigration plans. The illegal migration bill is going to be debated for the first time in the upper chamber from today, and the government is bracing itself for an awful lot of opposition. This will include Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, who has previously called the bill ungodly. Well, let's talk to Ivon Sampson, who's an immigration lawyer. Good morning to you, Ivon.
Good morning,
Thank
Julia.
you very much indeed for joining us. There's no doubt at all there are many peers in the House of Lords coming from a wide range of different political backgrounds who are going to be very much intent on changing this bill, getting rid of this bill. There is the will of the House of Commons elected by the British people. Do you think the House of Lords, whilst trying to perhaps tighten up some of the measures, check, correct, emissions that have been messed out by MPs, because a lot of them are perhaps more expert in their field, but fundamentally this bill should go through the House of Lords intact. Otherwise, it will be defying the will of the people. Do you agree?
I think it will go through eventually, and there'll be some horse trading with the House of Commons to do that. Because as you know, even if they defeat it, the House of Commons can reintroduce the bill under the Parliaments Act and then get it through that way. So it won't really, it'll be a conflict between the House of Lords and the House of Commons, which the House of Commons doesn't want, and neither the House of Lords. But it doesn't solve the fundamental problem, and that is the delay in decision-making of asylum applications and the lack of control of our borders of people crossing the channel. So this bill will not address that. So next year, well, this year, we're going to have in excess of 50,000 people. Next year, probably looking at the trends, in excess of 60,000, and that will continue. We've got conflicts in Pakistan, we've got conflicts in Sudan. So the world is, there's lots of things happening in the world which will mean there'll be displaced people.
Yeah, there's no reason to think this is a problem which is a bit of a fluke and it's all going to change. That's not what's going to happen. But this is the thing, that long delay, was it only 3% of asylum cases that have been brought, but people who've arrived since 2018 have actually been resolved by the Home Office. There's clearly a massive issue in terms of staffing of the Home Office and who they've got and how they're working. Working from home, I would say, not helping. But also, we know that there are an awful lot of hurdles to be jumped over in terms of the human rights activism and the like by a lot of lawyers. Where does this end? Because realistically, are we going to be seeing this bill become law and then action be taken? Is there any end in sight of this? Because this, of course, is crucially one of Rishi Sunak's 5 key pledges, that he's going to stop the boats.
Exactly. And it'll end with the Conservative coming out of power. That's where it's going to end. And with the new Labour government having sensible policies. Because these headline policies, dog whistle blowing of the Conservative Party. In fact, you know what? At the other side of the election, we should have a government having sensible policies.
What do you mean by sensible policies?
Well, for example, I think there should be a statutory footing on the time that it takes to decide an asylum application. So the Home Office should be forced on a statutory footing to decide an asylum application within a reasonable time. They will have to do that, then other will be a breach of their statutory duty. At the moment, they don't have it. There's no pressure on the Home Office to decide asylum applications. There seems to be no thinking and strategy of how to get a system in place, which, if you go back 20, 30 years when I first started practicing, they were deciding within weeks.
Yeah. But why does it take so long? And we were told it's because there's appeal after appeal, or often it's because people arrive, they haven't, I mean, something like 90% of people we understand coming across on the boats don't bring any passports or anything with them, which of course makes you question where are they really from. People claiming they're from a country which they're more likely to get asylum from, but with no proof. What is the delay? Do they just sit there and no one cares? Because even if there were a time delay, you need to do this in 12 weeks or something. Then what happens? What do we do then?
I think the focus of the government, really, the policies are to get back into power. And that's the problem. Instead of focusing on resolving the problem, what they want to show to the general public is that we're doing everything we can to stop the boats. The lefty lawyers like Ivon Sampson are stopping us doing that. And so it's not our fault. And I think that's the problem, that there isn't any proper strategy and policy to solve the problem.
Okay, but if there wasn't, how does having a time stamp, right? You must do this by this time. Look, we saw that with, in A&E, you have to be seen within 4 hours. Everyone has to be seen within 4 hours. Well, when they're not seen within 4 hours, enough people aren't. Then you just drop the target. Then you can set a time limit of 2 months, 3 months, a year, 2 years. They're still not going to hit it, are they?
Well, I disagree with you. I think if we set a reasonable target, if the Home Secretary doesn't meet that target, if the Immigration Minister, Jenrick, doesn't meet that target, he gets sacked. And I think when your job's on the line...
government ministers getting sacked for not doing their job.
Well,
don't be silly.
Wait
a minute. What about civil servants getting sacked for not doing their job? When that's going to happen?
Well, absolutely. I mean, look, we need the right people in the right positions making the right decisions. We don't have that at the moment. And that is a problem. And nobody's talking about that. And then also the boats. What about the security? Are they going to be detained or are they going to be free to come on and off? And if they're free to come on and off, what happens if they disappear into the system?
Okay, let's go back. Yeah. This is the barges. So we've got this this migrant barge that is going to be, well, it's arrived already in Falmouth. It's getting repaired and maintenance work right now in Falmouth. And there's been a call from the local council for an extra 700 grand to fund extra policing because they're worried about these 500 young single men suddenly arriving in Falmouth. We know that they are going to be. It's not a prison camp. They are going to be free just as if they were in a 3 or 4 star hotel to come and go as they please.